We are discussing about probability. So we talked about events. What are events and terminology related to it. Now the thing comes is types of events. So we need to understand that what are certain events, impossible event, compound event. So let us say that we have n elementary events associated with a random experiment. For example, if you toss a coin, head and tail are the elementary event and the experiment is tossing a coin. So the corresponding sample space has n elements. How many elements are here? Two elements. Two n elements. So in this example, we have two elements. Okay. So for any general case, n elements, let us suppose. So how many subsets it will make? See, sample space has n element. What will be the subset? 2 to the power n. See, h and t, 2 are the values. Okay, if you take a die, so how many elementary events are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 elementary events. In first case 2, here 6. So what will be the subsets? 2 to the power n. We have already seen that in the previous discussion. So each subset of S is an event associated to the random experiment and the sample space is the universal set of these events. Okay. For example, if I take 2 and 4 from here, or say 4, 5, 6 from here, or say 1, 6 from here, these are all different events and they are the subsets also. They are different. But they are subset of the main set sample space also. So now these 2 to the power n events, which we are calling as 2 to the power n subsets, they are divided into different types on the basis of their nature of occurrence. So the first is certain or sure event. So an event associated with a random experiment is called a certain event if it always occurs whenever the experiment is performed. For example, let us say getting an even number or an odd number. See, we have an or here, even number or odd number. So when you throw a die, either 1 will come, 2 will come, 3 will come, 4 will come, 5 will come, or 6 will come. So the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are all the possibilities. This is the sample space of elementary 6 events. Now 1, 3, 5 are odd numbers, 2, 4, 6 are even number. So if you have an event getting an even number or odd number, whenever you throw a die, either the number will be even or odd number. So this is a sure event. Every time either a even or odd number will come. So this is called a certain or a sure event. Now if I say that opposite of sure is impossible event. So it's you can say complementary to sure event. So an event associated with a random experiment is called an impossible event if it never occurs whenever the experiment is performed. If it never occurs. Same example we are going to take. So we say that a number which is coming is 7. Okay. Now you throw a die and the event is 7 should come. How can 7 come? The die only contains from 1 to 6. So it is an impossible event. 7 will not come. 8 will never come in a single throw of die. So this event of getting a 7 on a single throw of a die, fair die, this is an impossible event. So A cannot occur at all. So we call it as a null set. A is the null set. Null set, or you can call it as an empty set, and it is represented by 5. Represented by 5. So even represented by 5 is an impossible event. It's an impossible event. So these are two types of event. Now coming to compound event. Now what is a compound event? An event associated with a random experiment is a compound event if it is the disjoint union of 2 or more elementary events. Okay. What does that mean? That is, other than elementary event and impossible event associated with a random experiment, all events are compound events. as they are obtained by combining two or more elementary events. Please understand, two or more. Second thing, other than elementary event and impossible event. And the definition is also talking about if it is the disjoint union of two or more elementary events. Two or more elementary events. Okay. Now understand this. If you throw a die, okay, how many elementary events are there? And what are the total number of events? And what is the number of impossible event? Now you will get compound event. How? See, the definition is somewhat confusing, but I am saying that elementary event, total number of event, and the impossible event. Now throwing a die. Now understand this example very carefully. As I said, how many subsets are possible? 2 to the power n. In a die, how many elementary events are there? These are 6. This sample space has an element. So how many subsets will be there? Because n is 6. So 2 to the power 6 is 64. So 64 is the total number of subset. And I am saying remove elementary events and an impossible event from it. So there will be one impossible event. Why? Because all the elements which are not in the elementary event, they will always be the impossible event. Because you say 7 will come, it's an impossible event. Say 100 will come, it's an impossible event. So we assume 1 as an impossible event. Okay. So 1 is the sure event, 0 is the impossible event. So we are taking one event as impossible event. And how many elementary events are there? 6. So we are adding the elementary event and the impossible event, and we are subtracting it for the total number of subsets. 64 minus 6 plus 1. 64 minus 6 plus 1, that is 64 minus 7. 57 is the total number of compound event. 57 is the total number of compound event. I hope you got the idea. Okay. Okay. So let me tell you again. Compound events, all the possible events you take. First of all, you have to have a sample space and you know how many elementary events are there. So you'll take all the subset. So you will first remove all the elementary event, number of elementary event. You subtract n. Then you subtract the impossible event, which is always 1. Why? Because anything which is not in the elementary event, that is always be impossible. So always there will be one impossible event, because the possibility or probability is from 1 to 0, that we will talk about in axiomatic. But for now, impossible event is the number of an impossible event is 1. So whole of the subset, subtract the elementary event, subtract the impossible event. So you will get what? 2 to the power minus n plus 1 is the compound event. Okay. Now coming to mutually exclusive event. Mutually exclusive event. So 2 or more events associated with a random experiment are said to be mutually exclusive or incompatible events if the occurrence of any one of these prevents the occurrence of all others. That is, if 2 or more of them can occur simultaneously in the same trial. No two or more of them can occur simultaneously in the same trial. We also call it as incompatible. Okay. So one is happening, it will prevent the occurrence of another. The second is happening, it will prevent the occurrence of the first one. Okay, what does that mean? Let us understand with an example. So elementary events are always mutually exclusive, right? So in Ludo we play using die. So this die, the sample space is how much? 1 till 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now you see how I make mutually exclusive event. First event I have taken getting an even number. Even numbers are what? 2, 4, 6. The second event I am taking is getting an odd number. What is this? Odd number is 1, 3, 5. 1, 3 and 5. This is odd number. Now C is getting a multiple of 3. One more set I am taking. It's a multiple of 3. What are multiple of 3? 3 and 6. 3 and 6. Okay. Now, when you take the intersection of two set and you get a phi, you get a null set. Then you say they are mutually exclusive. They have nothing in common. See, A and B, there is nothing common. 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5. There is nothing common. So A and B intersection is giving me a phi, which is a null set. There is nothing common. So that is A and B are mutually exclusive events. A and B are mutually exclusive events. Now one more example I am taking. Now A and C. If you see, A has 2, 4, 6 and C has 3 and 6. So we have 6 common. In A and C, 6 and 6 are common. So A intersection C is not equal to phi, it's not equal to null set. That means A and C are not mutually exclusive. They are not mutually exclusive. Okay? A haven't stopped C, C haven't stopped A. That is, these two events are not mutually exclusive, but A and B are definitely mutually exclusive events. For example, we are playing a card. You know, in a card, either it will be a red card or a black card. So if I take an event A as getting both red cards, B as getting both black card, or even if you take only one card, getting a red card, when you get a red card, it will not be a black card. Black card, it will not be a red card. Okay. Now coming to exhaustive event. So exhaustive event, when a person runs, he gets fatigue after some time. So he gets exhausted. So exhaustive event, you can relate with that. Okay. Two or more events associated with a random experiment are exhaustive if their union is the sample space. That is, events A1 till AN associated with a random experiment with sample space S are exhaustive if A1 union A2 union all AN equals S. So if we have A1, A2, AN, these are N events. We have a sample space. These are all the events. If I take the union of this, all of these, if it is coming sample space, we call A1 till AN as exhaustive events. So two or more events are exhaustive if their union is the sample space. We are going to combine them, take the union, and if it gets to a sample space, we say, oh, it's an exhaustive event. Now, I'll take an example here. Die you have already seen. See, all elementary events associated with a random experiment form a set of exhaustive events. That is also true. So now let us again go to the die. Now I'm making certain events. A1 is getting an even number. Again 2, 4, 6. A2 is an event which is getting an odd number, which will be 1, 3 and 5. A3 is getting a multiple of 3. So we have multiple 3s are 3 and 6. So 3 and 6 getting a multiple of 3. Okay. Now one more event I am adding, which is getting a number which is greater than 3. A number which is greater than 3. So what are the numbers greater than 3? 4, 5, 6. So let us write 4, 5, 6. Now, what are exhaustive events? If I take A1 union A2, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. Now you see, when I combine this, it is a sample space. So when you take the union of these two sets and you get a sample space, these two sets or these two events are these are exhaustive system of events. Exhaustive, right? Exhaustive. Okay. Now let us take an example of events which are non-exhaustive. Now take A1 and A3. Now combine them. Take the union of them. So we have 2, 4, 6 and 3, 6. So 2, 4, 6 and 3, 6. So A3 is 3, 6, just had it here and put it here. So 1 is not there and 5 is not there. So it is not making a sample space. So when you take the union of A1 and A3, you're not getting sample space. And when you're not getting a sample space, that means these are not exhaustive event. That is, these are not exhaustive event. Okay. There is one more thing which is coming. One more type is mutually exclusive and exhaustive system of event. That is, it has to be mutually exclusive also, and it has to be exhaustive system of events also. Right? So how to do this? How to understand this? If you assume S to be the sample space associated with a random experiment, then a set of events A1 till AN is said to form a set of mutually exclusive and exhaustive set system if we have two conditions. So S is a sample space and we have A1 till AN, these are the events. These are mutually exclusive and they are exhaustive system of events also. They are both mutually exclusive and exhaustive also. So there has to be two conditions which it should follow. First is A1 union A2 till AN, all the events, if you take the union, it has to be a sample space, which we already know. In exhaustive, mutually exclusive is what? The first condition is of exhaustive system. The second is, if we take intersection of any of these two sets, which you are taking in the union, or the intersection should be phi. That means there should be nothing common between A1 and A2 or AI and AJ. I and J should not be equal. Okay, AI and J should not be equal. So these are the first one was for exhaustive, second one was for mutually exclusive. That is why if both conditions are followed, we say it is mutually exclusive and exhaustive system of events as well. Okay, let us take one more example. Again, we'll take a die. Now A is, say, even number, B is odd number. Now if you see, even number is 246, odd number, the event is 135. Now if you take the intersection of A and B, you will get a phi because there is nothing common between 246 and 135. Nothing common, so second holds. These are mutually exclusive. And when I take the union of this, A union B, what do I get? 135 and 246. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of them we get. So A union B is giving me sample space and A intersection B is phi. That means both of the condition is true and we are saying it is mutually exclusive as well as exhaustive system of events. So one more type of events can be possible, that is favorable elementary events. So S is the sample space which is associated with a random experiment. Then and say A be an event associated with this experiment. Then elementary events belonging to A are known as favorable elementary events to the event A. Okay. So all the elementary event of event A are the favorable elementary events. Favorable means whatever we wanted has come. We wanted even number, 246 has come for a die. We wanted odd number, 135 has come. So 246 are favorable for even case, 135 are favorable for odd. Okay. Let me tell you again. If S is a sample space with some random experiment, A is an event associated with an experiment. So the elementary events belonging to A are known as favorable elementary events to the event A. So an elementary event E is favorable to an event A if the occurrence of E ensures that happening or occurrence of event A. Again, let us take an example of die. In die, so we have sample space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now getting, say, multiple of 3, we already seen. Let us take one more example. Let us take an example of, say, getting 8 as the sum. So in this first one, that is multiple of 3, this E1 and E2, 3 and 6 are the favorable elementary event of an event which is multiple of 3. Okay. Now let us take one more example of a die getting 8 as the sum when we throw a pair of dice. 2 die we are throwing. So 2, 6, 6, 2, 4, 4, 5, 3, 3, 5. Please remember we are throwing 2 dices. So one can have one number, one can have another number, and it has to be one between 1 and 6. So when in this, which are the favorable cases? So all these 2 6 6 2 4 4 5 3 3 5, because 1 5 can also come, 3 2 also can come, but all these which I noted here, these are the elementary events which are favorable elementary events to the event which is getting a sum of 8 when a pair of dice is thrown. I hope you got the idea. Sometimes 3 may come, the 2 die, 3 comes and 6 comes. So 3 and 6 will not give you 8, so that is a non-favorable event. If 1 and 6 will come, 1 in 1 die, 6 and other die, 7 will come, that is non-favorable. But 2 6, say 1 on 4, not favorable. 2 6 6 2 4 4 5 3 3 5 are favorable events. And these are not favorable events. These are favorable elementary events. Elementary events. Okay, this is the type of event we have covered. And we will be taking the actual axiomatic approach in the next discussion, right? So till then, thank you so much and take care of yourself.